Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to Chattering with Nicholas Vince. And this week I'm going to be talking with Stewart Sparke and Paul Butler. But just before I speak to them, I just wanted to share my t-shirt again. Okay, yay, your appraisal. I've only made two short films this time around, so but I've got t-shirts, so I want to share them off. So yeah, that's the second of the two short films. The other thing I want to do is to thank Paul at Short Scary Tales Publications for the wonderful books that I got sent in the post. This is The Wolves of El Diablo, and this is The Guns of Santa Sangre, and I'm going to be talking with their author Eric Red next week. Now, just to remind people, and I'll remind you again at the top of the show, sorry, at the end of the show, that basically, because I'm expecting it to be such a popular show, considering that Eric Red wrote Near Dark and The Hitcher, etc. I'm sure lots of people are going to be interested with questions. If you could submit them to me via the link that I've put on the YouTube, on the YouTube show, you'll find a link to a survey so that you can put in your questions. If you could do that, so do it this evening. I'll keep that open until tomorrow before I go away. I'm going away at lunchtime tomorrow. So if you could get your questions in and put the link in, sorry, if you get your questions in via the link, that would make my life an awful lot easier. Okay, so anyway, Paul, Stewart, would you like to introduce yourselves?
You go first. Hello, Paul Butler. I'm the writer of Book of Monsters.
And I'm Stewart Sparke. I'm the director of Book of Monsters.
Yay! So the last time that we spoke was last year, probably around about this time last year.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, when we were talking about your first feature film, which is Creature Below. So what's been happening with that?
Yeah, Creature Below. We did Fright Fest, which was amazing. We got to meet you in person finally, which was awesome. And you wore the shirt, which was like amazing.
Particularly considering how small it was in relationship to me. Yeah.
You looked absolutely beautiful. And it was amazing, just like hearing what people thought of the film, getting the reviews. We did a few of the festivals after that.
It was so good just to get to speak to people in person who had just seen the movie and hear some great positive reviews. So it was good fun.
And negative as well, because we want to hear them all. And and that was part of the learning experience for us is reading the positive, reading the negative reviews, and learning from the whole process to make ourselves better filmmakers, because it'd be pretty stupid of us not to. Since then, for distribution by various distributors around the world, and it's finally made its way to the UK just last month. You can buy it in HMV.
In HMV,
it's just like a dream for us, like being able to go in and actually buy the film off the shelf.
We took a wander into HMV on our lunch hour, and we were kind of scouring around, and we just saw it at the bottom shelf, and we were like, it's there, and then it was there in the horror section and everything. So that was a pretty cool feeling for first time feature film makers, to see it in the shop was quite good.
It was amazing. So and I've got to plug it while we're here. I think it's only like £7 in Morrison's.
Yeah,
that's a bargain right there.
And it's available elsewhere as well.
Oh, of course, you can get it. I think HMV, Asda, your supermarkets. You can get it on Amazon.com. It's streaming on Amazon Video as well. So if you've got
Virgin Media, I think.
Virgin Media, TiVo, I think it's on. Still haven't seen it on Sky yet, but one day.
So it's available in America.
America, Germany, Japan, Canada, obviously, and it should be coming to other territories very soon, which hopefully we can announce pretty soon as well.
Brilliant.
Great.
Now, you made the first feature film on a really low budget. How much did you spend on the first feature film?
Well, the first one was only £12,000, and that was money that Paul and I just put in. We went half and half on everything, and we just saved up from the day job. We both work 9 to 5 jobs. We only have the weekends and the evenings free, so we just saved up, and we pretty much made it on our holiday as well. We just booked 2 weeks off work. We shot the whole thing in 14 days, which was, if you're a filmmaker, you can imagine that's a lot of stress and effort. But we finished. It was a 9 to 5 shoot. We always finished by 5 o'clock.
We fed people well, which was the most important thing, I think. Yeah, and we had some really great people around.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah,
the cast and the crew were working hard, and everyone signed up for that. But we had a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's a brilliant experience, really.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's now out distributing. You're now here to talk about your second feature film, and I have to say, declare an interest in here because I'm really excited to be involved in it. But but tell us more. Well, I had a really nice day. Actually, you achieved an awful lot in one day, and you can tell us a little bit more about the filming of the promo video for the Kickstarter. So yeah, you've just launched your Kickstarter with it's still quite, for a feature film, it's over 3 times, it's nearly 4 times the budget of your first movie, in fact. So where do you want to start? Who came up with the idea to begin with? Paul, you wrote it. Was it your idea or what?
It's a weird one with our ideas. They're very difficult to pinpoint exactly who came up with the specific ideas, because we're always bounding ideas around, and I kind of love the way that we work in that respect, that there's no direct ownership. Someone will take something and play with it in their own heads, and then we'll come back and we'll be like, oh, well, what about this, what about that? Whereas with Book of Monsters, I suppose there's a bit more of a beginning to it.
We did the Horror Channel used to run something with Wild Seed Studios, I think it was, and a few other. I think Movie Mogul was a company. They did a competition called Shortcuts to Hell, where they wanted, I think, 20 short films to go in a horror anthology. We got in on the ground level on the second Shortcuts to Hell 2, which I think is still on iTunes and Amazon and things like that. And entered. We need to come up with a film that needs to be 3 minutes and could be a feature film.
Yeah.
Because there was a prize involved where the winner got to develop, I think it was £20,000 to develop their idea into a feature. We came up with this idea called Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Because you had to use that as one of the potential titles.
This was for the first incarnation.
Oh, the first time round, yeah.
Yeah, they basically gave you only allowed 6 lines of dialogue, and they gave you a selection of titles that you could choose.
Yeah.
And one of them was Sweet 666. We were like, oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And ideas, and it came about that wouldn't it be cool if when someone turns 16 for their prom or whatever, they have to fight off a horde of monsters and other crazy things coming to kill them.
Yeah, set in a world where that's just the norm. You have to, to grow and become an adult, you've got to survive a horde of monsters. So we loved the short film idea. We wrote it up, but we were like, this needs to be a feature film because it's too big. There's so many elements for comedy, horror, gore. So we kind of just put the idea aside, like we have done with many things. And the time came after Creature Below, Creature Below is a much more downbeat film. It's more of a gritty British psychological horror with a monster in it. We were like, we want to do something really fun and entertaining and make people kind of scream and shout and go, yes.
We kind of got into our heads a lot with the Creature Below, which was great, and looking at darker things, whereas we were like, we want to just entertain and kind of let loose a bit on the gore. So
Book of Monsters is all the things we want to see in an action, a horror comedy, and that we think people will want to see and really get behind. So that's kind of where it came from. And what was interesting about the whole process is when we were looking at funding the film, we had this great idea. We've always wanted to do like a choose your own adventure film or a video game. And we were like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if the audience could choose the monsters that are going to attack, and they can choose how that person dies. And Kickstarter was this amazing thing. So many other filmmakers used to such success, and we were like, this is great. We can actually integrate that into the campaign. And people can, they can pledge, they can get a cool reward like a DVD or a T-shirt, and then they can choose the monster that's going to kill that character in the film. And we were like, oh, we got really excited about it. And then many, many months went by of effort and stress, and here we are, and it's out there.
So basically, it must be interesting, Paul. You've written the script. So basically, we'll come back to this in a little bit more detail. So having had this idea, and you've got your as you say, you've got this onto Kickstarter. Incidentally, Paddy Murphy, hi Paddy, says 14 days. Paddy says 14 days, $12,500. That's insanely good. And a couple of smiley faces as well.
Yeah, cheers, Paddy. Yeah, we can't believe it ourselves, but it happened.
Yeah, got the grey hairs to prove it.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. No, God, that sounds terribly stressful. Okay, so basically, you have this idea, Paul. You've written the script, but presumably there are bits that say, "Okay, this happens," but we're not quite sure.
Oh yeah. It's
a jigsaw,
it's a
isn't it?
Jigsaw
puzzle.
And it's also it's been a really kind of backwards way of attacking a script in some respects and attacking the story, because you've got so many, and the choices that people get to make will significantly affect the film. Like the film is as prepared as it can be, one way or the other. But really, it's down to what people choose, and that will take it down a whole different avenue. And it's really exciting from my point of view. Stressful, scary, but
so I kind of assumed you'd been more sensible, in inverted commas. It's just like, okay, monster A does something nasty, but we keep the same plot. What you're saying is you literally are branching. Is like the good old-fashioned paperbacks you used to get when I was a kid, where basically you said you have a choice to make. If you choose A, turn to page 36. If you got a choice B.
Yeah, that's exactly why I used to read like the Goosebumps. There was like a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure book, which I loved so much. And I mean, there is ways, certain elements like the monsters, for example, like Monster A will always be here or there. But because some of the monster designs are slightly different, we've got these really cool ideas where, well, if they do choose the Spider Queen monster for the shape-shifting one, we can do a really cool thing where it cocoons this person or that person. Or
spoilers.
Sorry. But where there's other bits that do really make us up our game, because some of the gory deaths, we know that there's one or two that will take place in the living room during a party scene, for example, but some of the others might take place in a different room with a different character. So that does actually change the story quite a bit. And it's been great because we come up with, as you inherently do when you come up with a script, you're like, oh, but I really want to do that, but this makes sense in this way. We've got those branching paths where we can actually do either or now.
We've kind of... we don't really know exactly what we're going to end up shooting at this stage, which is really exciting. We know where the story's heading, and we know if we take certain branches and certain avenues, it will go a certain way. But we don't know yet if that's the way we will actually be going with this, or if it won't be. So and you're right, there are certain elements which will be a case of slotting A here or B here. But we both tried to really keep that to a minimum, because it kind of goes against what we want to do. We want people to be that involved with the film that when they make the choices, they know it will resonate on the screen. Really, it'll be a significant change.
And we do want people to, get really excited. They do their voting on the questionnaire. We get it in. We're putting it on the film. We're going to have all the backers are going to we're going to make sure we got a ton of updates from the set as to when we're making the creatures in the creature shop, when we're shooting with them, lots of backer exclusive updates, so they can see their choices on the screen going, oh my God, that's the one that I chose. That's so cool. And then when they finally see it on the screen, they're like, oh yeah, I picked that one. And hopefully again, if maybe they didn't pick that one, they'll be like, oh, that turned out really good. So it's really fun process for us, and we enjoy what we're doing, and it seems to be so far people are really engaging with it.
The idea of giving people that choice seems to have really picked up with people, which is cool. We've been collaborating, so
So there's a question just come in from, I was interested, he said it came from Paddy originally, but this is from Celtic Badger Media official YouTube. So I think it's probably Paddy. It might be Barry, it might be Aaron. I have no idea. It's one of you guys from Celtic Badger. Please put a name in. Let me know who it is we're asking. But the question is, was the Kickstarter a byproduct of the concept or was the concept in place and then the idea of the choose your own adventure, it is Paddy, choose your own adventure kind of made sense for this specific concept? So which came first?
A bit of both. I mean, we had this idea of Sweet 616 as a core concept, which we really loved, and we thought we could do something fun with that. And then we were looking around at other Kickstarter campaigns, and we knew that was an avenue we wanted to go to, because the great thing with Kickstarter is it allows you to connect instant audience. And we thought, well, we can do more here. Again, Stuart's always been bound in this idea of we should do our own pick your own adventure film, or maybe we could do it as a game. And we looked at other like video-based games on PS4.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a revival recently of FMV, full motion video, kind of point-and-click adventures. There's a really interesting one called The Bunker recently, and Her Story. Yeah. Again, I'm a massive gamer, so I'm very obsessed with this type of stuff. And yeah, I'd always wanted to do one, and it was kind of a case of we had the Sweet 16 idea, we had Kickstarter, and we had the video game idea, and it was kind of a bit of a, oh my god, we can do more! This is the chance to do it. So this is kind of a melding between them, and I think the stars aligned in a way. It wasn't that we knew we were going to kickstart our next film and we had to find a way to make it interesting. It was like it was the perfect marriage of all these elements, really.
I'm a big kind of story structure nerd and all of that side of things. So this idea, this as a challenge, was like, oh, this is amazing. I don't even know how to approach this, and I was like, well, I've got to try this then.
So spent a lot of time figuring out all these jigsaw pieces and everything. But I mean, hopefully, as people have seen with the campaign, we've got the choices there. Have faith that we know what we're going to do with them, because we do. And please take a look at the campaign, and even if you just don't donate, don't pledge to it, have a look at it, because we put a lot of work in there, and I think you'll enjoy what we've come up with anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
It's certainly really interesting. It really is a fun. It's what somebody was saying. In fact, one of your backers was messaged me the other day, and he just said, it is just a really cool video. It's a really cool Kickstarter video. It's really, really effective. And just so you know, so if you go to Kickstarter, and I'll keep on repeating this, just go to Kickstarter and Book of Monsters. If you search for Book of Monsters, that will take you to the campaign we're talking about. So if you're watching this and you'd like, want to find out some more about this, go to Kickstarter, Book of Monsters, and check it out there. I have to ask you, obviously, particularly as Paddy's watching, who's just saying he's working on the I presume it's Egomaniac he's talking about, where he's doing a game based on the Egomaniac, Kate Shenton's Egomaniac film. I presume you have got plans of doing some sort of app if this all goes very well?
Well, it's interesting that Paddy might mention that, because I happened to have been talking to him the other day about this very thing. So not a firm plan yet, but Paddy, I will be in touch. But that is definitely something that would be amazing to do. And we've got so many other ideas for this type of media.
Yeah, there's something about this idea that we really have fallen in love with, and the idea of I don't know, volume, should we say? Because the idea and the world that we want to create with Book of Monsters, it's fun, it's kind of action based, and I would hope we could look at other avenues and other ways to keep the Book of Monsters going, really. Outside of the film. So
let's see what happens.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about the actual film itself and the team. But as I say, I came up and had a really enjoyable day working with you guys. Incredibly well. I have to say that was one of the most beautifully organized sets. Literally I was being led from place to place. Okay, this is where you're acting, Nick. This is where you're talking to camera. This is where you get to play with some really cool props.
That was because behind the scenes we were all stressed as hell. Going, this has to, it was like a regimented thing. And I apologize in a way because we didn't get time to really sit down and chat and talk. It was about 10 minutes throughout the day where I was like, Nick, let's just have a chat. But apart from that, we were just moving people from one room to the other. But
but that's the thing, is that we want the thing I'm most proud of with all of our productions that we do is we're very organized. Everything is scheduled to a T. Everyone is happy, and hopefully the evidence is in Book of Monsters. We've got a lot of people coming back. They all wanted to come back, and that's a good sign. And people are asking to come back and get involved. And we want to make the experience as enjoyable for everyone as possible, even at the sacrificing our own sanity to do it. But yeah, the whole thing of I just wanted to touch on the video itself. Like, we put a lot of effort into the video because talking, again, you're watching this now for an hour, us talking. It's much more exciting to see some women with chainsaws, ready to kick ass and finding out about the film. So we were like, let's put some money into this, scrape some money together, put together what we think is quite a fun campaign video. And thank you so much, Nick, for coming and getting involved with it, because it was awesome.
It really was fun, and I have to say, well, you can see when you look at the video on Kickstarter, the production values you could really see, and you did that literally in a day. You actually finished early, you were saying.
It was 58 setups in one studio, and in the other studio we had every single cast member doing video interviews, photography on 2 different backdrops. And then me and Paul did our video at the end of the day as well, talking to camera. I've got so much media on hard drives now. I'm trying to catch up, getting it all out. I have some amazing pictures of you, Nick, holding chainsaws, looking really menacing, that we are getting up at some point.
My usual joke. My usual jovial, sinister self, as somebody said the other day.
But so well.
Great, it's really great.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. So let's go into a little bit more detail. So who in the cast from Creature Below is coming back?
Well, we've got
Anna's back.
Our star, Anna Dawson. She was absolutely amazing to work with Creature Below, and I tell everyone this, like, you need to cast her in a film. She was so good, and we thought, get her in a very different role this time, because superb. But we wanted to go, let's do something completely different with her and let loose. So Anna's playing kind of, on the surface level, she'd be your kind of stereotypical high school bitch, essentially. But she's got so much more going on behind the scenes, as is your character, Nick, that we can really play with it. We can really kind of subvert the audience's expectations. Michaela Longdon's coming back, and Michaela was absolutely fantastic. You throw her into any situation and she'll just adapt, and she'll improvise. She brings so much to the character, and she's playing hard as nailed Mona.
She's a kick-ass character, Mona.
She is kick-ass. We've got Daniel Thraces back again, and Dan, we've had him in pretty much every film we've ever made now. Dan is solid actor. Solid. He's on in terms of bringing something to the character. He's always wanting to bring something more to the character. He's always bringing suggestions. He really gets into the role. Or sometimes too deep, Dan. Don't go too deep. But he's just absolutely brilliant. And again, we've given him a completely different character to play this time. I'll let you talk for a bit, Paul.
But also people that we couldn't get on The Creature Below prior. So we've got Lizzie.
Lizzie Stanton.
Who's coming. She auditioned for The Creature Below, and her audition was brilliant, and we really wanted to work with her, but she didn't totally fit the character that she was going for. But we had Book of Monsters up and running, and we thought we need to reach out and just see if she's still available, see if she's still up for doing bits and bobs. And she was brilliant on the day. And again, she's brought so much to the role behind the scenes and working with myself and Stuart on the character. And everyone's been so involved. It's been a joy to work with. Lindsay.
Lindsay Crane.
Technically in The Creature Below.
She was Lindsay. You could say she's returning from The Creature Below. So Lindsay, she had a bit of a cameo as one of the nurses at the psychiatric hospital at the very end of the. It's kind of a spoiler. Sorry.
Oops.
Film. She's in the film a little bit, but she was absolutely fantastic. And again, I've worked with her. Well, we've worked with her in several short films, and it was just a case of getting the schedule together, really, because we've never had her for a significant chunk of time. And again, she's perfectly cast as Sophie.
Oh yeah,
this film.
Brilliant. Yeah,
it's going to be absolutely
fantastic.
fantastic.
Leading our movie.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant actress.
And so many more people kind of joining us. Aaron Dennis, who
amazing.
I think you didn't get to meet him. You met him briefly on the day, Nick, but he's in
I
our
met so
trailer
many
as the
people.
pizza
I feel really guilty because it was such a long time, and basically it was my 4th short film in 2 weeks.
Wow.
When I did, because we'd shot Your Appraisal of Necessary Evils, then we'd shot Paddy's Intervention, and then the following weekend I was doing your film. So by the time you got to see me, that's why I have this deep, sexy, husky voice in the video.
It was so good. It was so good.
It's really.
But yeah, you didn't get to meet Aaron. Aaron's fantastic. It's comedic timing. He makes everyone laugh all the time. He does his own podcast as well. I must give him a shout out because he does his own podcast called Smorgasbord, which is on. You can find it on Facebook. I'm sure you can find it on iTunes as well. Do check it out. It's hilarious. And also we've got Steph Mossman, who we didn't get to have in Creature Below, but she's actually on the original key art we made for the film when it was called The Dark Below, and she is the person on the cover, the German Blu-ray and DVD cover for the film. So she's kind of in the Creature Below.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's coming on board as Pandora, who is a sexy, mysterious character that we can't really say too much about. But you'll notice I'm saying all this stuff about the characters. In the trailer, a lot of these actors are playing kind of more stereotypes
background and
roles because we just wanted to get everyone involved. So although Anna and Steph are in the trailer and Aaron as well, they're not playing the roles that they'll eventually play in the film, but we really wanted to kind of show off our cast in the trailer. So the trailer is really just a sizzle reel. It's a bit of a fun Kickstarter pitch video. The full film's going to take everyone to a much different level.
Yeah, deeper thing. But it hopefully gives an idea of the flavour.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay, so during, if I've got this right, at least another 2 people have pledged. I think, if I got I think I got a couple of people may have pledged during the thing. I think I've got that right. Anyway, so that was good. So what? So Kyoto Dragon is wonderful music.
Kyoto Dragon. Oh, it's so good. Have you been listening?
I have been. Yeah, I've been listening to it. He's got wonderful. So how did that come about? How did that connection? Because he worked. He or they?
It's he. So it's Dave Walker, and Dave has worked on a few of our shorts, and he did the score for The Creature Below. So he's also known as Kyoto Dragon, and he does the most amazing kind of retro synth wave. I'm probably describe it in completely the wrong way, and he'll be really angry at me. But you've got to check out his. It's amazing music, and he's done some amazing tracks with. I think he did Kyoto Cyber Police one where he got. It was like almost like a radio drama mixed with this awesome 80s music. You've got to check it out. And Dave, we worked with him on Creature Below, and he brought this really unique soundtrack to the film because we really didn't want a traditional, like modern Hollywood soundtrack. We wanted something that, I mean, there's been a bit of a revival recently. You've got stuff like It Follows had an amazing soundtrack. I'm trying to think of other examples. Like Beyond the Gates, there was a Pride Festival just nailed that 80s kind of vibe there. And Dave just brings so much to the table creatively because I'll say, oh, this scene needs to be like this, and he'll go, but what about this? And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So he completely blows me away every time.
I was going to say, every single time, he just seems to elevate where we're going with certain elements and certain things, and it just makes everything more epic.
Because
really strong.
Oh yeah, and because like his score, like you can listen to the Creature Below score just on its own, and it's like it's just superb to listen to separately. So we were like, Dave, we need to do a soundtrack for the Kickstarter. And Dave is so into, he's a really big collector. He collects retro games, VHSs, Laserdiscs. He's always, whenever I go around, he's like, oh, I just watched Castle Freak on Laserdisc and got it in a charity shop. It was really cheap. And I'm like, amazing. Yeah, so he wanted to do the VHS reward, which we've got. And Dave's going to make every single one of those by hand because you've got to do it in real time. Carefully hand weather the cover and everything so it looks like it's a relic from Blockbuster Video. And it will be an amazing 16 by 9 lovely copy of Book of Monsters on VHS, as well as you can get a cassette tape soundtrack as well. He's really into that, and you know so many people who are as well. So it was a demand. It was like, we have to have that as a perk, as a reward.
Well, I was just checking out Kyoto Dragon on Bandcamp, and the keywords are 80s, electronic, electro, movie, retro wave, score, Sega, soundtrack, synthwave, vaporwave, and York.
That's
yeah, it's great. And you can really hear because I swear he's sampling stuff as well. It's just, I was listening. It's not often that I actually just sit down and listen to an album, and I just thought, it's really cool. It's very, very cool. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. Okay, so there's Kyoto Dragon. You've got Paul who did your VFX on so the SFX on Creature Below is coming back. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
He's bringing Del and his brother along.
Yeah, it's a family business.
Yeah. But yeah, Paul was amazing, and he worked with Neil last time on the Creature Below. And again, hopefully we'll get Neil kind of in consulting to some degree and things. But it's just brilliant. Them guys are just so passionate about what they do, and they've been sending amazing videos of creature puppetry kind of arms that fully extend and move in really creepy ways, and they're looking at how they're going to make the tentacles operate and move fluidly with air machines and all sorts, and they're just so passionate about it and so crafted. Like Aaron in the Kickstarter video, if you've seen it, he's all obviously teared up and
he's got the American werewolf.
Yeah, straight through the eye. And they did all of that in very little time, really. They had a few hours, if that, and to do a full body kind of cast. And they had like blood spurting out and all sorts. We kind of had to reel it back a little bit for the Kickstarter because we kind of thought we can't go too gory on this.
We had to actually be quite safe because of Kickstarter is a website anyone could go on. So we really actually my initial idea to have blood everywhere on everyone and guts. we had to really pull it back in because we were really worried they wouldn't let it fly. And there was some censorship problems early when we were trying to get the campaign up, where I had to kind of edit frames out and then do a few things. It was really interesting.
But when we do the actual film,
oh yeah,
we'll use all those liters of blood we've got stored up now.
So much. So yeah, they're ready to go. And Paul's messaging me all the time going, do we know what we're making yet? Do we know which monsters it is? It's like, Paul, calm down. He's like, we just want to make it. So, and they're so quick. I need a vertical splat of blood across the face, and it needs to be exactly here. And he just went, did it. And I was like, wow, amazing. So really excited to work with those guys again.
That's always, like, as you saw, Nick, we had to run to such a tight schedule because we were fitting so much in, and that's pretty much how we roll, it seems. We always seem to be very tight on the timings. So it's really important with the visual effects. Unfortunately, that can kill your times and your schedule and your budget because of that. But again, not with Paul and Mark. Now we just know that they know what they're doing ahead of time. They come prepared. They work really well with Stuart and myself on what we needed and executed it perfectly. We didn't have anything slow us down really, which was quite amazing.
Really good day.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think he's got to wait, at least another couple of weeks, if not more, for the whole Kickstarter to finish, and then
we're actually thinking of we figured out a way where we can actually get the questionnaire out to people sooner.
Okay.
As long as we'll be able to do it as a backer-only update with a questionnaire that's external to Kickstarter.
Right.
So, because we're really conscious of time, that we need to kind of start finding out what people really want in this film. So we're going to get it out pretty soon. We'll announce it on Facebook or Kickstarter anyway.
Obviously, whenever you donate, though, you will still get the ability to vote. So if you do leave it to the last day and
please don't.
You kind of pledge, you'll still get the same vote. Yeah, please don't.
I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realise is it's really important to pledging to the like the idea, you like some of the rewards. Please pledge sooner rather than later, because a lot of people will look at it and they'll see, oh, there's a lot to go, and that can kind of put people off because they think, oh, I'll wait until the last minute, or I'll wait until I've got paid. And the great thing about Kickstarter is none of the money will be taken from your account till the day the campaign ends, which is the 3rd of August. So if you don't get paid till, the 1st of the month, you can still back it now because it won't come out of your account till the 3rd anyway. So that's something to bear in mind. And also, one of the things that, if we don't make the target, we don't take any of your money. We don't get it. We don't get any of your money, unfortunately. Which would be really unfortunate because we really want to make this film. A lot of people really want to get this film made. So if we don't get the target, we don't make it.
Yeah, we didn't want to risk kind of trying to make something that wasn't up to standard or didn't do justice for the money and the effort and the time that people are putting in. So we did kind of go, well, we're going to set our target at this, and that's it. And if we don't make it, which would kill us, please help us make it. But if we don't, we won't, because we're not going to waste people's money. And that's why it's all or nothing, really.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on budgeting for this film, everything. This is exactly the money we need, and to cover Kickstarter fees and everything. Anything less, and we couldn't make it anyway. So we're not.
This is like down to the minutest detail, really, of trying to make it as cheap as we could, as the quality and everything else.
Yep. Okay. And Craig has just texted me to say now that since we started the show, 3 people have now booked. So thank you. If you happen to be watching, thank you. Okay. So another person now. I don't know if she was involved in Creature Below, and that's Abigail J Harding.
Yeah, Abigail. It was Honganger. Yeah, we did a Viking. We did a Norse mythology short, which was about 15 minutes long, back when me and Paul were working with another company called Glass Cannon, which was we made a lot of heritage films and commercial projects. And while me and Paul, it was kind of around the time that me and Paul were kind of slowly branching away, and we're all good friends now because they do hand-drawn 2D animation, which, again, check out Glass Cannon. Yeah. They've done some amazing short films, award-winning short films as well. And we were kind of slowly pushing towards more horror, and they were still more family-friendly.
The dark side was drawing.
The dark side. And essentially, we made this Viking film that was, it had a Draugr in it, which was a kind of a Norse zombie, essentially. And Abigail did this amazing hand-drawn, I think she painted it on wood, and it was a raven.
There was a raven. There was a lot of kind of animal symbolism within the film, and we had this big antagonist that turned into this heaving zombie monster type thing that was all based off a raven with raven kind of costumes and painting. And then we had a father figure that was a stag, and then the son, which was a small kind of fox imagery. And Abigail's kind of depiction was just stunning, really. It's beautiful. It all kind of bled into one another. The artwork that you see on the Kickstarter is, like, for Honganger, it was much, I don't know how to word this, but much more kind of
family friendly.
Yeah, that's what I'm searching for. But again, just really beautiful. So we've been really keen to try and keep working with Abigail and working with the
and she's so talented, and she has such a sick mind, like in a good way. Like she's got a DeviantArt page which we've linked in the Kickstarter. It's amazing the stuff that she does on there, and she does a lot of kind of fan art from inspired by like Doctor Strange, Aliens and things like that. But then she's got a lot of original monster designs that she's done herself, and she's come on board for us. She's done 18 monster designs, completely different monster designs in 6 categories, which you're going to be able to choose from. And
they're not just kind of like zombie or werewolf. We really wanted to all of that. They're so out there, and so unique. Like the Creature Below, we took the kind of H.P. Lovecraft cosmic horror vibe, and we're still very much into that. And there is a few monsters that kind of lean on that side. But there's so much more. The scarecrow with the sign and stuff like that.
Horrifying stuff that you just look at and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, no, carry on.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you carry on.
We wanted to give it a real unique flavour across the board because, we want it to be fun. We want it to be action-packed. But we do want it to be horrifically scary as well.
And there's like six archetypes that you can choose from. So there's like a beast, there's a slasher, there's an abomination. But even the slasher, it's not your traditional kind of Michael Myers, type of thing. It's more drawn from folklore and ancient and primordial, and we really want to go that way with all the monsters. So they're a different take on a lot of the horror archetypal monsters that you see.
Yeah, funnily enough, I'm just looking at them on the Kickstarter now. So you've got Beast, Shapeshifter, Critter. I love the critters, look really horrible. Slasher, Abomination, and Paranormal. But as I say, your slasher is not your archetypal slasher. The first choice appears to be some sort of geisha lady with a really long neck.
That is creepy as hell. And we're going to get up very soon again when we launch the backer survey, which you're going to be able to do to vote. We're going to have the pictures in there, so you can click on them and make them full screen. They're all going to have names, and they're all going to have a little bit of background to them, so you can give some context behind your choices. And we're really looking forward for everyone to see that. And we're waiting a little while, teasing out a bit longer, but once we get that up, you're really going to get to learn about all these creatures and what death you're going to bring upon all our characters in the
film. This sounds so much fun. It's just really excited about this idea, but also it is just those designs. Those designs are really, really haunting. So we talked about monsters. Those are the 6 types of monsters. If you haven't done so already, please head over to Kickstarter and Book of Monsters. If you head over there whilst you're watching this, you can check out the monsters that we're talking about. Amazing designs. And please, pledge. Because pledge. And if you can't, completely understand, you may not be able to afford it, then share. Spread the word, really spread the word about this. Okay, so you've got 6 monsters, or 6 types of monsters. As you say, you've got how many monsters? My maths is really bad. 18. It is 18. Yeah, there are 18 monsters to choose.
Essentially there's 6 categories of monsters, and you get to choose 1 monster from each category.
Yeah.
And each of those monsters will be in the film, essentially. So in total, there will be 6, and we've got each of them has their own archetypes, so that they'll appear at certain points in the film, and change it up so that they're not just fighting the same type of monster each time. It's not just like there's 6 types of werewolves attacking them. They've all got a unique way that they kill you. They've all got a unique way in which they scare you, and they're all equally horrifying. Some more than others.
They are good. They are really, really good. Okay, so you've got 6 types of monsters to choose from. The next thing is you can choose a gruesome death.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun coming up with that one. There's the gruesome death, which we've got. Again, because the script is essentially a jigsaw where we can slot things in. Some of the deaths take place in different points of the film, so we can't wait to find out which one it's going to be. But we think we've got a nice list there of absolutely disgusting deaths that we can assure you will be long, drawn out, and painful. Whichever one is chosen. And again, please check out the Kickstarter. You can see all of these in detail on there.
And just to give you a kind of taste of what you can choose from, number 1 is beaten to death with their own limbs. What I particularly like is squeezed out the top like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah, you know when you grab it and you squeeze it out the top.
Yeah, kind of really hoping for that one.
Yeah, I really want that. The choice is yours.
Yeah. And then the mysterious birthday present.
Yeah, so we've got Sophie will receive a gift at some point in the film. She doesn't know where it came from. Again, you may or may not find out. But within which will be a gift which will either doom the party guests or be their salvation. And we've got some really cool ideas for how each of these kind of inspired a bit by Cabin in the Woods, how they go into the base at one point and they could choose the way. Again, we're not doing that specifically, but that's something we really wanted to do. I kind of, the book in the Kickstarter trailer, the actual book of monsters she gets in the box is kind of, that'll be what how the present kind of ends up in the film in that kind of way.
Kind of show out. The book will be a bit different within the
Yeah, the book has a much more important role within the whole film.
Right.
Tell you, but the present will be a really fun one.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, anything that has a potential choice of sinister flute is.
All right.
I wonder what I get goosebumps just looking at, and that's creepy doll. Dolls.
We've got to throw through a few of the stereotypical monster. I mean, creepy dolls are in right now. There's a certain film out right now that's got a creepy doll in, and and the painting as well. I like the painting. There's a girl in the window. What's that type of thing?
Yeah. There's
creepy things in there. So and that will all the present specifically ties to the appearance of one of the monster types in the film as well, or how it is defeated. It depends on what you choose. We've got so many different combinations. So we can't wait to find out what.
So how are you actually going to keep? Okay, so what everyone's got this. How have you got this laid out, Paul? Do you have what app are you using it to say? Okay, I need to drop this document in here. Oh, how are you doing all this?
In spreadsheets.
No, yeah. It's weird, really. It's a lot of spreadsheets in some respects and a lot of tables. So, I mean, we've talked a lot about your character and vigilance things. So each character has certain arcs and movements, and it was important for me that all of them go somewhere. So it's hopefully a dramatic film, and it works from that point of view. And then all these other things that will be added on are kind of like wrappers to that. So you might have a character that, if you choose a certain death, might die in the first act. So then I have to go, they're not going to be able to talk in the second act because they're dead. So now they can't talk with this character, and that's where I thought that's where I had these characters going. So I have to swap them around and move about. It's a difficult one to explain without showing you the wall of paper that goes with it, really. But yeah, it's essentially a moving of elements. But again, it's a really fascinating process to go through. I don't know. I would do it again, but I might need to cool my brain down first. But
well, it strikes me that basically you've got all, having prepared all this material to begin with. If you do, assuming that the campaign is successful, we make the movie, then you've got your game, a lot of your game already written. You've got a lot of material there.
Really essential.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we didn't have that much time with The Creature Below in some respects in pre-production, because we knew we had a block of time where we could shoot, and we kind of worked quickly towards that. So it was keen for us to just have as much of a jump on this one as possible. But then we came up with an idea where you can't have a complete fully fledged script before we go to it. And we're looking at a 2-week turnaround.
We're doing this is the thing. We've not got a massive amount of time to turn it around. Hence why it was really important to get as much ready as we can before. So as we were saying before, it's a jigsaw puzzle with pieces missing. Yeah. All the pieces are there. We just need to know which ones people want to slot in there, and we can slot them in. So it's really fun. And again, as soon as the campaign ends and we've got the votes in there, we know what people are going to want. We can get the real work going, we start shooting in September pretty much. So it's not long after the campaign ends. It's essentially a month before we actually start turning over. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
How long is the shoot?
The shoot is likely to be, the main block of the shoot will be about 2 weeks in total. Less condensed than it was. Creature Below was literally 2 weeks, no break, start to finish. We've been working a lot with our cast, finding out availability, and there's a space of time where everyone's free in one big chunk, which is where we'll get all the main meat of the film done, which is what we'll be shooting in September. And then there's some other bits that we'll be doing external locations and other bits with just a few of the cast, either before or after that main period of time. I mean,
the whole of this process, in a way, has been a jigsaw puzzle. So you talked about the story and those elements, but also because it's low budget, and even with the money that we're asking for on Kickstarter and stuff, it's still very low budget. So we're having to think, well, when are people available? When are locations available? When's crew available? So that is all coming into the mix as well in the scripting and the preparation process, because it's so modular. We're able to think, well, okay, well, we know we've got this actor and this actor, so let's put them together. How would they work as a pair? And then we chuck the monster on the top, and it's a very fluid process in some respects. But
yeah, that's what we've been doing all day today, is scheduling. I forgot how fun it is. Potential, and there's nothing more satisfying than kind of sending out the call sheet and everyone coming in going, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know exactly what time I'm having a lunch break, I know exactly what time I'm finishing, and they finish slightly earlier than that time, and they're all really happy, and that's what we like to do on our shoots. So let's keep that
up. There's a couple of messages from Paddy again. Proud backer over here.
Oh, we're very proud to have him as a backer. He's an absolute legend.
And he had a question. Did you ever used to read the Ian Livingstone Death Trap dungeon books?
No, I have. I can't say I have. Sorry, Paddy.
I think Ian Livingstone is the ones I'm thinking of. Possibly. I think they were Ian Livingstone. Oh, I just remember they're incredibly complex, and the fact that you had to literally flip backward pages, and you could end up all over the place in the book.
I love that kind of. I absolutely love that. I'll have to check that out, actually.
And the other things that you can vote for are the uninvited guest and the horror trope which must die. So
the horror trope must die.
Yeah, the horror trope must die.
That's a really fun one. That's definitely like the cliches that you see in a lot of horror films. So obviously, our film, I'm sure it'll have a little some cliches snuck in there, but we're also going to try and subvert them, is the nature of our film, which has got quite a big comedy element to it. But in terms of that one specifically, we thought it'd be really fun that whatever people choose, we will flip it on its head and do it in a really fun way. So just imagine what some twisted minds could do with the sexy shower scene. We got some very film, so
So I'm just hoping Craig just tried to share an image with me, and all I've got is a big long text, basically gibberish that's just come through. I suspect Paddy was trying to share a photograph of the cover of the book we're referring to. I suspect. I don't know. But so okay. So you said you're going to be sending out the for those who've already backed, you get to you're going to be sending out the survey. What else are you mentioned earlier on that you got me with? I can't wait to see me holding a chainsaw. I think I was being very silly when I held the chainsaw, come to think of it. What else are you going to be sharing during the run of the campaign?
Got so much. So we've got besides from, we had Alex Woodcock, who was our behind the scenes stills photographer on Creature Below. I think I've got about 700 photos that he took on the Kickstarter shoot day, which is amazing. He sent me about 180 really good ones. I think I've only put up about 7 so far. So we've got so many of those for you to see behind the scenes. We've also got the videos as well.
Yeah, all the character videos that yourself did, Nick, and every actor. Again, the reason, say, like Anna and Steph and Dan, they are just kind of background in the Kickstarter campaign, but it meant we had them on set, so we could take them into the other studio and get them to do all of their character bio kind of videos. So you will all get to meet the characters that will be horrifically killed and maimed.
Or they might survive. Don't tell them they'll die.
Well, also, you don't know yet.
Don't remind
We don't know yet.
Well, exactly. Some fantastic, amazing character videos where people talking about the characters. We've got all of the cast talking about their favourite horror movies, their favourite horror movie monsters. Loads of video content that's going to be coming out over the next 17 days. All these pictures. And we took some amazing cast photos, as I said earlier, with our cast with a variety of weapons. And so we'll be sharing some of our favourites over the course of the campaigns. The best ones will be saved for backers only. So keep an eye out for that on your email updates, because we'll have some brilliant ones of you, Nick. Don't you worry.
Because I do remember there's one point it looked as if I wasn't going to be able to get to play with them, and I was kind of going, I want to play with them. Everybody else, why does everybody else get to play with these things, these really cool things? It's not fair. I want to play. Cool. All right, so we're nearly at the end of the show. So, gentlemen, what is the name of the project that they should be looking on Kickstarter?
Book of Monsters.
Yeah, there's no the. It's just Book of Monsters. I got this wrong. Book of Monsters.
Facebook page dates on there as well. And just search it on Kickstarter and start following us. Send us questions if you've got any. We're very willing to connect with horror fans and other filmmakers as well. More than anything, we love getting involved.
The whole thing with this project was getting involved with people and working with people, and hopefully giving that ownership over to people who want to come on board and be part of the team. It's not something that you give your money and we run away. It's like we're all part of the same crew, and you guys will get to choose and decide what happens in the film. And there's some great perks on there as well. So
only one of Nicholas Vince's signed collection of books left. Only one left.
So 2 out of 3 have gone. There's only one more. There's only one more set of my 2 books. I really should get around to writing another one. That's a story for another day. It's a story for another day. I've got to finish the second of the 2 films to do yet. That's more important. Plus some other things I've already promised people. Okay, so please go to Kickstarter, Book of Monsters, support us, because I really want to make this movie. It just sounds so much fun.
We really do. It's so
it's so much fun, and obviously it's just meeting everybody. It's such a talented bunch of people that you're working with. Who's your DOP? Who we haven't given shout outs to some of the crew.
Well, it's the DOP slightly changes. We had Sean Brown. It was absolutely fantastic on the Kickstarter trailer. Sean is not free, unfortunately. We knew this before we did the trailer, so he was actually filling in for our DOP on the feature, Hamish Sachs, who's absolutely amazing. I used to work with him. I've worked with him many times before. So we'll be announcing crew, and we still have some casts to cast as well. So keep an eye out for some casting calls and some announcements very soon. We have some mystery cast members we haven't announced or even told you about, Nick. So you'll get to hear about all that. Well, just keep an eye on the Facebook and the Kickstarter. So it's exciting, really exciting.
Excellent. Okay, well, 17 days to go. As I say, was saying, keep on pledge early. It really does. Having run a Kickstarter campaign, the nerves, the sheer nerves. I don't even mind. I was really lucky. It was a much smaller target, so but it's a big target. Okay, so I will be back next week. Thank you very much. Just before we say goodbye, I just want to remind people that next week I am going to be talking with Eric Red, who's at the bottom of there, about his next 2 books. His next book, which is the second in the trilogy, which is called The Wolves of El Diablo. I'm looking forward to reading these. They look really cool. It's werewolves and westerns. What a combination. So that'll be next week, but in order to get the questions up, you will need to post them beforehand. There's a link on the show page on Chattering Show, and I'll share it again a little bit later on after I've done this show. In fact, I'll put it back up on the Facebook page. I'll share the photographs. But in the meantime, Paul, Stewart, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You went Again there.
Yeah,
you got
kind of
broke.
Oh no!
So we were like, what? You just went out. Nicholas,
yeah, I love your show, Nicholas.
We love your show.
You love my show, Paul Butler. You told me you do it. You listen to it whilst you're doing the washing up.
Every time my wife walks in and I'm doing the washing up, she's like, "Oh, Nick's on again." I was like, "There he
is." He should be concentrating, you know.
No, I can understand that.
Yeah, thank you very much. We can't wait.
Just before we say goodbye. Yeah. I just before I say goodbye, I've got to pass on lots of love from Paul Wilkins, Paddy, and Steve Zarebski. Hi, Steve. Yay. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. I will hopefully see some of you next week when I'm talking with Eric Red. This has been Chattering with Nicholas Vince. I've been talking with Stewart Sparke and Paul Butler about their Kickstarter for Book of Monsters. Check it out. Please support. And I will, as I say, hopefully see some of you